Anthropic discovered DeepSeek, Moonshot, and MiniMax used 24,000 fake accounts to extract 16 million Claude conversations for model distillation. Let's take a look at that.
Cmd+AI.
We've identified industrial-scale distillation attacks on our models by DeepSeek, Moonshot AI, and MiniMax. These labs created over 24,000 fraudulent accounts, generated 60 million exchanges with Claude, extracting its capabilities to train and improve their own models. This is exactly what distillation does. And Anthropic go on to say, distillation can be legitimate. AI labs use it to create smaller and cheaper models for their customers. But foreign labs that illicitly distill American models can remove safeguards, feeding model capabilities in their own military intelligence and surveillance systems. We'll get into that. These attacks are growing in intensity and sophistication. Addressing them will require rapid coordination and action amongst industry players. The internet did not respond so well to this. There's a lot of, the community notes basically outlining that Anthropic settled a $1.5 billion lawsuit for pirating 7 million books from shadow libraries to train Claude, faces $3 billion lawsuit for torrenting 20,000 songs. They built their models on stolen creative work, then complain when others extract their outputs. And you can go on it, you're trying to kidnap something that's rightfully stolen. The internet let loose, really, on this idea. Now, never ask a woman a man's salary, an AI company where they got their training data. So good. I will say, it's not quite the same. It's not I'm an educator. Kabaza is an educator. You in your everyday life are an educator, right? You learn something, right? And you interpret that information and you forward it on to someone else. It's a transformation layer on top of this. So it's not quite the same as it's not talking about stealing in that sense, but it's still fucking hilarious that the internet responded this way. And if we go through some of the actual attacks here, so DeepSeek, they discovered over 150,000 exchanges. Now, I watched Theo's video here, and he rightfully has a voice in this. He owns T3 Chat, as you might know, and he shared some of his stats, some of the things that some of the figures that that's happening, right? And he said that 150,000 exchanges is like a daily thing on his platform. And in fact, to be more specific, because actually tool calls are also exchanged with. So if you get all of that data, it's so much more than 150,000. And as you can already see there, reasoning capabilities across a diverse tasks, rubric-based grading tasks that make Claude functions as a reward model, creating censorship safe alternative to policy-sensitive queries. Moonshot, over 3.4 million. This is starting to get a little bit more suspicious. Operation targeted agentic reasoning and tool use, coding, data analysis, computer use, computer vision. And Moonshot Kimi models employed hundreds of fraudulent accounts spanning multiple pathways and varied account types. Now, I saw a comment here saying, what does this say about your privacy that you'd speak about? That is there such thing as privacy if you're able to track? Because I think they mentioned the metadata here. We attributed the campaign through request metadata. Where's the line there of privacy versus what is just, is it general location? What is this? Is it the email that was used? Not too sure, but yeah, someone questioned the legitimacy of privacy when it comes to this. And then MiniMax scaling over 13 million exchanges, operation targeted, agentic coding, and tool use and orchestration. And I have to say, the MiniMax one is slightly more believable. I had my suspicions. I made a video on my own channel. I had my suspicions about the similarities in performance between MiniMax and Haiku. And also that it's been tuned to Claude code. It seems like it's heavily directed towards Claude code, and then when the operation targeted features are tool use and orchestration and agentic coding, you have to wonder. But I don't know. I'm just a guy with a camera, right? I have no idea. But this one's slightly more believable. That all being said, again, Theo shared his numbers with us on his channel. If you can get a model from these sorts of numbers, if MiniMax can get a model with 30 million exchanges, then we're doing something catastrophically wrong with training, because this really is not all that much. I think, again, Theo shared numbers that came similar to this. I think, you know, that was the lie was 150,000. It was more in the realm of 3 to 4 million exchanges, something like that. But if you can distill a model with this level, you know, these numbers are more akin to something that is benchmarking, which anyone's kind of allowed to do. You benchmark against other models to make sure that that your model is good, right? I just watched a video earlier on about PewDiePie, who's trained his own model, and he's benchmarking them against ChatGPT and Gemini and these things. So these are the sorts of numbers we're talking at there. So yeah, why Anthropic are doing this, I don't know. I don't doubt, to be honest, that this happened personally. Like, just because the numbers don't line up doesn't mean to say that they aren't training on their, using their model to train. But it could just be one of many as a start. Realistically, and this is an interesting way to go about it, and they haven't really mentioned it in this article too much. Let's do military. Okay, here we go. Foreign labs that distill American models that can feed these unprotected capabilities into military intelligence. And this is true, but I feel like this is more of a fear tactic to try and get people to be like, oh, this is actually a bad thing. Because ultimately, going back to the tweets, people being upset that, that Anthropic are stealing, people just don't care. Why should we care? And it all comes down to this military training and this and that. Saying all that, what they're going to do about it, detection, they built some things. And actually, just on that note as well, they noticed, because MiniMax got released just shortly after Opus 4.6, and they noticed once Opus got released, they noticed a complete shift in the attacks happening, from that same sort of data sources and stuff like that. So again, I think it is happening, but can those sorts of numbers create a new model? I don't know. Intelligence sharing. So obviously they're going to be sharing this with OpenAI and all the rest of it, and cloud providers as well, Vertex, whatever Amazon's one is. Access controls. So they have their right to do this. They don't want their model getting used. No company can solve this alone. So, the jury is out when it comes to what this means. How terrible is it? Do we even care? Are they lying? But it is something that Anthropic have been crying about, and we're here for it. So that's that. This is part of a larger conversation on my show, Cmd+AI, which we stream live every single week. We discuss the news and all things related to AI in the world of design and web. Catch us next week and join in the banter.
Cmd+AI.